Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen van Basten, Life 101, Life 101, Stephen van Basten.
How many of you have laid in bed pondering the meaning of life? How many of you have sat with a friend over a bottle of red and philosophized about what this is all about? How many of you have stood at the graveside of a dear friend or family member and lamented and indeed shouted at the universe, "Why? Why? Why?" Madam Contest and fellow Toastmasters, I'd like to take you on a personal journey and share with you some of my journey. And I found the best way to do so is to take all of you on a journey with me. So I'm going to start with some very deep questions. In your opinion, what is the meaning of life? Why are we on planet Earth? What is this all about? Now, we only have 5 to 7 minutes, so I can't get all of your answers from you, unfortunately. But in my opinion, it's all about growth. Personal growth, spiritual growth, soul unfoldment. Indeed, the top level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. I'd like you to visualize with me a graph. I'm going to ask you to help me to create this. So right along here is the y-axis, and right up here is the x-axis. This is time, and this is growth. And visualize with me now a small gradient moving up. This is the gradient like the end of your cycling at Virgin Active, like the end of the 20 minutes, not the beginning. And that's the slow and steady growth. Now, if you happen to believe in reincarnation, you can add lifetimes into this. Because the universe is growing. Scientists tell us that after the Big Bang, the universe has continued to grow at 17 miles a minute. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think it's done that for 16 billion years, then you realize just how big the universe is. So if the universe is constantly growing, then I do believe we as humans are growing too. Now, isn't it also true that there are ups and downs in life? Have any of you got through life thus far without a disappointment? Have any of you got through life thus far without losing a loved one or wondering what this all is about? So we could surmise then that the meaning of life actually is slow but steady growth with ups and downs over time. How many of you have thought about why it is we have hard times? Why it is we have difficult times? So let me ask you the million-dollar question. When do we grow the most? During the easy, happy times or the tough, hard times? We grow through the tough times. And so we could actually say that the meaning of life is all of those difficult times that we need to move through. Isn't it also true that every cloud has a silver lining? How many of you know somebody who's been retrenched and 5 years later we're actually very happy that it happened? I know a friend of mine whose wife was unfaithful and he divorced her. 5 years later, he tells me he's now met his soulmate. He's very, very happy that it happened. And yes, ladies, it's not only men that mess around. I also know a friend of mine who tells me she's been blessed with cancer. There are wonderful benefits to knowing that you only have one year left to live. On the other hand, did you know that most billionaires are fearful of their children being kidnapped for a ransom? That most pop stars can't just pop down to the 7-Eleven for some fresh cream for the Irish coffees without being inundated with 1 million fans. There is a price to pay for that lifestyle as well. My good friend Dr. John De Martini says he wants to write a book titled, "I gave up trying to be happy because it made me so sad." I want you to think then of this model of ours that we built, and thank you so much for building this one, that it's actually ups and downs in balance over time. Newton expressed this, his third law of motion. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. I'm sure of one thing. I'm sure that the universe is in order. I'm sure that we were put onto this planet into a perfectly beautiful body, into a perfectly functional family, into a beautiful country, and that we will endure pain and pleasure, and our life will take us on a path that will bring out the best in us. Now, I'm not quite sure where the ups and downs of my life will take me. And I'm not sure where I will end up 50 years from now. What I am sure of is that I'm supremely prepared for anything that life throws at me. And that in 50 years' time, I will end up exactly where I am meant to be. Madam Participants.